Hello everyone, what's up? Welcome back to the Cozy Soul Knitting Podcast. I'm Saoirse and this is where I talk all about my knitting. I'm going to be sharing with you my finished objects, some whips, and future plans and acquisitions. So if any of that sounds fun, go ahead and stick around. I think this is episode 27, so I am a little overdue for a knitting podcast episode. It's been, I think, over 3 weeks at this point, so sorry for taking a while, but I just really needed to get some things off the needles. And I was thinking about filming last week and I was like, I just don't have enough progress to show. I don't know. I feel like I've been knitting a lot, but I just feel like I'm not finishing a ton. And I kind of realized why, because I have at least 10 whips going on right now, and we're not going to talk about all of them, but I am going to be talking a little bit later in the episode about what I'm planning to do about this whip issue, because 10 is too many for me personally. I can't do it. I've been feeling so overwhelmed by my knitting projects, and I haven't been having a ton of fun with some of them. I'm just feeling very uninspired with my current whips, and I don't like feeling that way about my knitting. So we're gonna be making some changes in how I go about knitting my projects, how I go about prioritizing them. Let's go ahead and get into the podcast episode, starting with obviously what I'm wearing, which is my Leith cardigan. It's finally done. I realized I've had this on the needles since March of this year. It has taken me a long time, and I was kind of thinking about that. I think it's because I was just having such a good time with the intarsia portion of it that I didn't want it to end. So I never really made it my focus project to try to get it off the needles, because I just kind of didn't mind it being like a long-term whip. It was really, really fun. And then that turned into kind of struggling with the button band. Not really struggling with it, just not really wanting to do it. I have to say, knitting the button band, because it's a sewn-on double knit button band, if you're not familiar with the pattern, knitting it was a chore, to be honest. I didn't really enjoy that part of it. I think mostly because it took a while and it was hurting my hands, so I couldn't sit down and work on it for long periods of time to get it over with. It was something I had to pick up here and there, and it just took forever, and it was just very not motivating. But then I actually found that sewing the button band on, I actually loved, and I'm looking forward to doing it again, weird as that may seem. I really, really loved sewing this on using mattress stitch. It was just, I don't know, it was kind of meditative. It was really, really cool to see these two separate pieces of fabric come together, and it looks so seamless. It's very, very cool. Highly would recommend it. It was so much fun. And then sewing on the buttons was actually also a lot of fun. I was not looking forward to it because I've never done it before, and it just seemed like something I wouldn't really enjoy, but I actually loved it so much, and I'm looking forward to sewing on more buttons. I will leave a tutorial link down below. I believe it was from Vanessa Smith Designs. It was a really, really good tutorial on how to sew on buttons to a button band, and she just included so many tips and tricks to really just make it easy, and I felt like I learned so much from that tutorial, so I would definitely recommend it if you've never sewn on buttons before to give that tutorial a watch. I will leave it linked down below, like I said. And yeah, it was so much fun, and I was just this was easier than I expected and also enjoyable, which I didn't expect. It is a pattern by Rebecca, aka the Crayabea, and I did kind of the Boucle version, which instead of using different colors, I used different textures. So one of the stripes is Boucle yarn from Explorer Knits and Fibers, and then the other is their Earthy DK base and their Suri Alpaca base held together, and it just created this fun kind of stripy thing, but textured. Also, I mean, the Boucle yarn, I think the Suri Alpaca kind of made the Boucle, kind of made it a different color. It was a little bit lighter than the Earthy DK, so it kind of toned these stripes down. But all of them were the same colorway. It was Olive Grove from the Spain collection. And as soon as I saw Rebecca's Boucle version, I knew that I wanted to do one, and I just couldn't get like an olive green color out of my head. And so when Explore Knits and Fibers did their Spain collection, I zeroed in on on the Olive Grove colorway, and I was like, yes, this is what we're gonna use it for. So very, very exciting. I do have a bit of yarn left over, and I have some plans for the Boucle yarn. There was a, I'm totally blanking on the name of it, but there was a kind of crossbody purse bag pattern that Alexa from Hey Alexa Knit, I'll leave her podcast link down below, but she had made this pattern. I can't remember what the pattern's called or who it's by, but it's made in Boucle yarn, and I think from looking at the pattern, I believe I have enough left over to do the bag, so I might do that. I just think it would be kind of cute, and then I would have like a matching bag for this cardigan. I don't know if I'd wear them together. It might be like too matchy, but yeah. And then I have a little bit of Suri left and a little bit of the Earthy DK left, so I'm gonna maybe make myself a hat too. So potentially it could be like wearing this cardigan with a matching hat and the bag. Again, probably wouldn't actually leave the house looking like that. It's a little too matchy for me, but it could be cute at the same time. Who knows? Overall, I would definitely recommend the pattern. I will be knitting it again. I want to do a more colorful version, like kind of the main samples that she did for this pattern. And now that I've, you know, done it the whole way through, there's no part that is intimidating to me anymore, except for potentially knitting again the button band, but at least I know that I really enjoy seaming it, so maybe that will encourage me to like work through it a little bit faster. But I also just need to be a little cognizant of my wrists. I don't know why, it was just sort of like the constant, because it's, you know, you're knitting flat for like, I don't know, however many stitches, not a very long amount of stitches, so it's like you're going back and forth, like flipping it back and forth, and that motion, I think, or something about it was just not pleasant on my wrist. So I was getting kind of some wrist pain in this one right here. I mean, I think having the sewing in part to look forward to will like help me stay motivated to continue getting through the button band when I do this next. But I don't have yarn for it right now. It'll have to be something I maybe plan for next year, but I love it. I believe, yes, I knit size 3. I'm gonna go get my, I believe I knit the main part on US 7s, and then the ribbing I did US 5s, if I recall correctly. I don't have my knitting journal with me right now, which I probably should go grab, but let's see what else about this. I knit a size 3. I'll kind of give you like a little bit more of a close-up. One thing about this, I guess, to note is like this top button is a little high, I feel like, but I did it according to pattern. But I'm kind of wondering if I should have lowered it a little bit. It just seems a little high, but I'm like, maybe that is supposed to be how it is, but it just feels a little high. It feels like it should have gone about here, but from the directions, like that's, I feel like that's where it told you to put it. Maybe I misread it, but anyways, it just feels a little high. I don't think I'd ever really keep this buttoned up there, because it feels like it should be more like here, and then these should be maybe not as spaced out, but I think it'll work fine. I think it looks fine. I think my button band, like the button band on this side, as you guys can see, it kind of flares a little bit, whereas I did do a tubular bind off for the edge here at the end of the button band, and it looks a lot nicer. So I think for future ones, I may opt to do like maybe a tubular cast on for the edge. Sorry for the lighting if it kind of changes throughout the video. There's a little bit of natural light coming in and it kind of is going in and out, so yeah, but anyways, so like, yeah, just like the start of the button band kind of flares out because of the way I cast it on. I think I just did a long tail cast on because I don't think the pattern specified, or it either didn't specify a cast on or it just said to do a long tail cast on, so I would probably change that for next time. But other than that, I feel I feel like I loved this. It's knit bottom up. One of my first few times I think doing bottom up, and what was it? I don't know. I casted this on such a long time ago, I can't remember, but I haven't knit a ton of bottom up, I think, compared to top down, but yeah, anyways, but it was pretty easy, and figuring out kind of like how many rows to do the stripes was pretty easy. I just kind of followed the pattern. I didn't really try to make them a different width or anything. And yeah, the sleeves are my perfect length. I love when I can just kind of put my hands inside my sleeves. So yeah, they're very, very long for me, and I like that. And then you guys cannot really see, but it hits at about where like a little lower than where I normally have my waistband, depending on the type of, thing that I'm wearing. I moved my thing that I was sitting on to kind of give you I think this with like jeans would be super cute, and then I'll kind of just show you, I guess, what it looks like open. I'm not really sweater or this cardigan with like I don't think I wouldn't really wear it with this. I think a lot of times I will be wearing it closed, but I can definitely see myself wearing it open a lot as well, and maybe specifically with like jeans and like a cuter, I mean, this isn't like a cute top, but just, a cuter top, maybe a more, something, I don't know, a bit more, not dressy, I don't really know what I'm saying. Like a band tee, I think would be really, really cute as well. So that is my Leith cardigan. And this is the first cardigan that I have knit that I will be keeping for myself. My first cardigan that I ever knit ended up being a little too big for me, and I didn't really like how it looked on me, and I gave it to my mom, and it has been on the podcast, so if you've been with me for a while you might remember that, but it's exciting to finally have my very own cardigan that I'm keeping and it's for me. So yeah, there's that. If you have any questions, let me know. I don't know, it's been on the podcast so many times, I feel like I've probably talked about it to death, so let's go ahead and move on to my next finished object, which is also a very, very exciting project. This has been blocked, but I have not cut the ends yet. Yeah, I have finished my framed sweater. Look at it. Ugh, it blocked out beautifully. I'm gonna save it for next time. I think I'll wear it in my next podcast because I don't think I will have I probably won't have any finished garments to wear in my next podcast. Maybe, but we'll see. I don't know after blocking if this will have changed, but the neckline was a bit tight. So it's just like a little tight, but it's not terrible, but I am wearing makeup, and so I just don't really want to like deal with that right now, so I'm not gonna put it on, but it's done and it's so much fun. I really enjoy a good like tubular bind off or Italian bind off. It's just so much fun to do a sewn bind off. I don't know why, I just really was looking forward to it for this whole project, like the neckline, the sleeves and stuff. So my color retention I feel like was not the best with this, but most of it did block out. I think kind of the only place it didn't really block out a ton was like on the sleeves, and I think that's because they're kind of a puff sleeve, and so the kind of puckering that did occur didn't really get stretched out, if that makes sense, because so I don't know, like the color work is a little funky on the sleeves, but nothing that I think is going to be super noticeable. I think overall it turned out really, really nice, and I'm very much looking forward to wearing it. I just haven't yet because I literally just took it off the blocking mats today. I think it had dried a couple days before, but I just got back from being out of town, so I kind of just left this to dry while it was gone, and it did, and now it's ready to be worn, and I've shown it on the podcast, so I can wear it without worrying about anything. It's bottom up. Oh, and this is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, if you didn't already know that. I feel like it's a pretty popular pattern. But it's bottom up, and you do a tubular cast on, which is not the most fun thing in the world. I love a tubular cast off. I don't really like a tubular cast on just because it's hard to keep track of how many stitches that you've done, but I did manage to do it without too much trouble. I mean, I had to attempt it a couple times if I remember correctly, but eventually I got it down and got started with it. And so the yarn that I knit this with is, the two solid colors are from Spinster's Daughter, and then obviously the color changing one is Dream State, and I can't recall correctly, the blue color is Ranch Romance. I do have the ball bands, so yeah, so the blue color is Ranch Romance. This kind of golden brown color is Sunny's, and then it is Dream State, and the Dream State colorway was Dirty Little Secret. So those are the yarns that I used. It was a bundle that Spincycle was selling on their website when this launched, and I couldn't say no to it. So super excited to have this in my wardrobe now. Gotta cut the ends off, obviously, before I wear it, but yeah, I love how it turned out. I haven't tried it on since, you know what? Let me just try it on. Let me just do this. I'm doing it for you all because I really don't want to get makeup on this, but let's see if I can put it on without getting makeup on it and without accidentally. Oh, that was the other thing, real quick. I did not catch my floats except for there's in the motif, there's a few rows where you're knitting one color for quite a few stitches. So I caught my floats on that row only, and that's not what the pattern suggests. The pattern suggests to catch your floats every 4 or so stitches, but that just seemed overkill to me, and I don't know, I'm kind of finding that I'm more of a like not catching your floats type of person. I feel like it works better for me. I feel like when you catch your floats, it kind of tugs on the stitch that's like anchoring it, and I don't feel like it, I don't like that as much. So I don't know. I feel like I need to try to put this on my head first. Yeah, so you guys saw it's a little bit of a squeeze to get it over my head. This is definitely a little tighter fitting than I feel like I may be used to for my knitted sweaters, but yeah, it is definitely cropped, as you can see, and then the sleeves are quite short. I think if I had done another repeat, then they would have been the perfect length for me, but I kind of wanted to stick with the pattern and just see if I liked this. So we'll kind of see as I wear this more if I like the sleeve length, but it feels unnatural to like have so much of my wrists and hands exposed. I don't know, we'll see how I like it. The only kind of complaint that I have is I wish that this was cinched in a bit, like the bottom. I just feel like it kind of, it's very boxy, and I think it would maybe on me look a little bit cuter if it was cinched in more, so it's not really terrible, but I like it. Overall, I really, really like it. I love the color changing aspects. The puff sleeve, slight like puff sleeve is pretty cute. I don't know if I'd knit the pattern again just because I don't think I need another one of these in my wardrobe, but it was really, really fun. I think overall I did get to a point with the Oliver color work that I was kind of like, okay, I'm a little bored of this now. Like, you know, with like a typical colorwork sweater, like you do the motif on the yoke, and then maybe there's a little bit more on the body and maybe there's a little bit on the sleeves like towards the end, but it's like then you usually get like a good chunk of just solid stockinette knitting, and I feel like I didn't get that with this. So like getting to the ribbing up here was fun and different, and I actually found I really liked knitting the ribbing with this for some reason. I wouldn't normally say that I love especially like 1x1 rib, just because it's not that I mind knitting it, it's just sometimes it hurts my hands, so that's the only thing I don't really like about it. But when I got to this point after like doing the whole body, it was like, oh, so refreshing to like just work in one color. And yeah, so I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Overall would definitely recommend the pattern. Let me go get my knitting notebook so I can tell you like what needle size and everything I was knitting this on, if you care, which I don't know if you do, but just on the off chance you care, I will go grab that to tell you. Yeah, so I used size US 7s for the main portion, and then for the ribbing I did US 5s, so same as the Leith cardigan. Okay, for my Leith cardigan I actually lied. It was US 7, so 4.5mm needles for the main portion, and then for the ribbing I actually did 4mm, so US 6s for the Leith cardigan. I'm gonna take this off and put my Leith cardigan back on, and just because that's gonna annoy me. This feels really warm though. It's like a good, it's nice. Like I'm almost like, I mean the Leith cardigan is gonna be warm too, but I'm like, oh, now I'm cold. That's it for my finished objects. And I'm so glad to have both of those off the needles because they were definitely taking me quite a while to get through, which is fine. But I've just really been looking forward to actually having them to wear. So glad that they're done. Let's get into whips. I am going to speed through one real quick. I don't know if I've really made a ton of progress on my sunset sweatshirt, but here might be showing, I think this is actually the front. So this is how it's looking. I think I haven't really added much to it since my last update, and I don't really have anything additional to say about it. It's just kind of chugging along and just a fun all over stockinette sweater. So I will continue to work on this. I would love to get this done soon, but we'll talk about that later. I have very specific plans in an order that I would like to go in for my whips to try to get from having 10 whips down to something a little bit more manageable. And then this one I've made a lot more progress on since last time, and it is my wood rich wrap that I always have a hard time saying. This is a pattern by Rachel Keener, and I'm knitting it with the Moonglow Yarn Co. Woodland Witch collection. Get the right side to show you. So this is where we're at. I can't quite remember. I think maybe last time I had just started this section here, or this section here maybe. Yeah, I think it was this section here. So I finished this light kind of purpley pink section here, which is the smocking section. Finished that. That was super fun. And then I did the dots section here, which is, they're basically baubles. I think I would consider them baubles. They're just very, I don't know what to say, like kind of flatter baubles, the way that you do them. Some of them stick out a little bit more than others for whatever reason, but anyways. And then I have started the brioche section, which I love brioche. It's probably one of my top favorite things to knit. I love the squishiness of it. It's so much fun, and I think it's one of those things that it kind of seems intimidating or hard, but like when you really start doing it, I think it's just, it actually is like very easy and fun, I feel like. So yeah, this section was actually the hardest for me, this little bauble section, because even though the pattern was like, do it very loosely, I still was doing it too tightly, and it was really hard to get like can I tell you the way that she has you do the baubles? I don't want to give too much. It is a, paid for pattern, so I don't want to give too much away. But the way she has you do the baubles, you have to basically knit through the back loop of 5 stitches, which is really difficult to do. And it's like, on the one hand, I have to, when I'm wrapping the working yarn around the right hand needle, it's like I have to keep that really tight as you're kind of starting to pull it through in order to be able to like grab the yarn, otherwise it kind of just slips off the needle. But then at a certain point, and you really have to like feel your way through it, at a certain point as you're bringing that yarn through, you have to loosen up, otherwise you can't bring it through. And so it's like on the one hand you have to do it a little bit tighter than you think, and then on the other hand you have to do it looser than you think. And my dog is like kind of barking in her sleep right now. I don't know if you can hear that. Anyways, I don't know if any of that made sense, but basically it just took quite a few tries to be able to get into the hang of the little baubles here. But once I did, then that section went through really quickly, or yeah, I was able to speed through it pretty quickly. The smocking section is beautiful, and then I think I already kind of talked about these ones here. This is a great pattern, I think, for anyone who wants to kind of try their hand at a couple different texture techniques. It's almost like a little sampling of all of these different textures that you can do, and I just think that's so cool. We'll kind of talk about when I'm going to be focusing on this project going forward, but let's move on. I think this is the last whip that I'll talk about because, like I said, I've really been focusing on getting this done and getting the frame sweater off the needles, and now this next whip is my kind of highest priority whip at the moment. So I am knitting my brother-in-law a pair of socks for Christmas, and the last week, or yeah, about the last week, I worked on the first sock and got it done, and here it is. Look how cute. So I'm hoping it'll be, you know, big enough or not too big and not too small for him. I've never made him a pair of socks, so this is kind of going to be a little bit of a trial run. If you think this looks a little familiar, it's the same yarn that I used for my Blooming Lavender socks, and I did buy a little extra yarn for those socks because I did want to have leftovers to knit a pair of some sort of sock for my brother-in-law. So I'm using some of that yarn, and once I'm done with these socks, I will see how much yarn I have left to play around with how I can fix my Blooming Lavender socks, because if you were here for last episode, you know that I've tried them on and I couldn't really get them over my heel, so because of the colorwork floats, and I got so many great recommendations for things I could try, and I will be attempting something at some point to fix them, but I want to make sure that I know how much yarn I have left to do whatever I might need to do for those socks. So it's like a self-drafted sock, but inspired by the summer camp. Is it the summer camp socks by Summerly? I'm pretty sure, which is a free pattern, and it doesn't have it only has one size, and so I kind of had to, I followed like a little tiny section of the pattern for like just how long to make the stripes, and that was kind of it. Then I just sort of put together my own knowledge of knitting socks and like stitch counts and stuff. I kind of more so followed the size, the largest size in the Crazy Sock Lady vanilla socks, but with the 3x1 rib pattern. Yeah, and then I added 2 extra stripes here just to save enough of this yarn because I was a little worried that I was running out of the main color for like that I wouldn't have enough to do the second sock with. And this is Knit Pick's Stroll fingering yarn, by the way. So the main color is the tweed one, and it's Earl Grey Heather, and then the green is Dill Heather, and it's also the Stroll tweed, and then the purple is just the regular Stroll, and it's in Duchess Heather. And so I added a couple stripes. I just thought I would kind of end the sock with the stripes, and I thought that looked cute. And then the only other thing to mention, and I don't know because I didn't read that far into the summer camp socks pattern to see if it did this, but the only other thing to note is that when I picked up, after I did the gusset, once I picked up the gusset stitches, so I always pick up on either side of the heel, I always pick up an extra stitch kind of in the gap between you know, my heel and the front stitches, and I just moved one of the extra stitches I picked up to the front of the sock so that I would actually have, instead of 36 stitches on my back needle and my front needle, it was 36 on the back and then 37, or at least I was, you know, doing my decreases to get down to 36 on the back needle, and then having 37 on the front needle, so that the pattern in the front would start with a purl stitch and end with a purl stitch. Anyways, just to kind of keep the pattern kind of symmetrical on either side. And then the only other thing to note that I did differently with this sock is I did, because I usually when I'm doing magic loop, I get that laddering down like the side where you have the needles on the back needle, and or needle 1 and needle 2, like, you know, the gaps in where the magic loop part is. I would always get laddering there, and so I just ended up just changing around. I went ahead and put stitch markers in and just kind of switched where that gap was every few rows so that I wouldn't get that laddering, and it worked out pretty well. And I think the only reason I never did that before was because I was like, well, I don't want to use stitch markers, because with magic loop you don't have to use stitch markers because you just can see like which the tail is coming off this end, that's the beginning of round, and you know, I don't know, so it just seemed like easier. But honestly, having the stitch markers in like is also perfectly fine, and it's not like, it doesn't make it harder to knit. So I think I'm just gonna go do that from now on and it'll be nice. But anyways, enough about that. So I have one sock down. This is my second sock. So I have one of the stripes completed and I've started the little kind of in-between stripe on this guy. So yeah, so that is my sock. If you have any questions about this, let me know, but it's kind of just a combination of like the summer camp socks, regular vanilla socks, and yeah, and then I just added, and I kind of, you know, did a different contrast color for the heel and toe, and then I added in these stripes here. So nothing special. Like, I don't really want to call it self-drafted because I feel like that makes it seem like I came up with the idea for it, but I just mean that more so in that I'm not following any one pattern specifically, but I am taking inspiration from many patterns. So but yeah, if you have any questions about like anything that I did, let me know. But I casted on 72 stitches to make kind of like the biggest size in the vanilla sock pattern, and I'm hoping it fits. I measured his circumference around his foot, and I think it was like at 11 inches, and the Crazy Sock Lady sizes are a little confusing because it's like 8 to 9 inches is a small, and then 9 to 10 is a medium, and then 10 to 11 is a large, and then you're supposed to have like 1 to 2 inches of negative ease. And so I'm like, what size am I supposed to pick? Like, because my feet I think are like 8 inches around, and so I just do the smallest size because that's all I can do, and it's fine. Or maybe I'm a 9 inches, I don't know, but either way, because it's like, well, is the circumference of this going to be 8 inches or 9 inches? And why are the sizes overlapping is my question. So I don't really get this, like, I don't know. It's not that important. I think with the ribbing, it'll help it mold to his foot a little bit better. So, and then I can kind of go from there. If he's like, this is a little too big or it's a little tight, I can try to troubleshoot for maybe next year's Christmas socks or something. So anyways, that's my last whip to talk about. I do have some acquisitions to share, but really quick before I get into acquisitions, I just wanted to chat real briefly about how I'm going to be attempting to get my whips under control, because 10, again, like I said, 10 for me personally is too many, and I'm finding weirdly I'm kind of having a good time being more of a monogamous knitter. I don't know how long that's gonna last for, but I'm gonna go with it while it's here. So my plan is to finish my brother-in-law's socks. Once I finish those socks, I will give myself a couple days to work on my Woodrich wrap so that I can kind of have a break from socks. And then I'm going to start a pair of socks for my sister for Christmas. And I think I have enough time to hopefully get them both done by Christmas. I'm hoping I don't lose steam on them, but I think I got some beautiful hand-dyed yarn to knit for my sister's socks, so I'm excited, and I think that that'll kind of keep me motivated. And then the stripes on the pair that I just showed you, I feel like that's been helping me. I'm like, oh, I want to get to the next stripe, or like I want to finish this stripe, or like, I don't know, it's helping to break up the sock enough that it doesn't seem too boring. And then I'm hoping the hand-dyed yarn will be like so beautiful that I'll just be very, very excited to continue to work on it. And I will show you that yarn because I did just get it, but I'll save it for the acquisition section. And then once I am done with both pairs of socks, that's all the gift knitting I'm doing this year. I'm going to focus in on my Woodwitch wrap because that has been really, really fun to work on. I'm going to go ahead and get that finished. And then I think I will focus on my on my sunset sweatshirt that I showed earlier, just because I think it'll be quick and easy to get off the needles. It'll make me feel a little bit better. And it's something that I will be definitely needing because it is cold. It is super duper cold lately, and I feel like we're just getting started. So, you know, it's just the beginning of winter. So have we even had the winter solstice yet? I don't know. I just feel like we've had a very cold end to fall and a cold start to the winter. Maybe that's not true, but it feels that way. I need another I need another sweater to stay warm. So, and I think the sunset sweatshirt will be a really great one for like lounging about the house as well. So I want to get that off the needles, and then I'll check in, but I definitely want to focus on getting my Musselburgh hat done. That's also something I feel like is going to come very much in handy with the cold weather. I, for some reason, can only find one of my hats. So I've just been wearing the same knitted beanie over and over again, and I would really like to have a variety to choose from. So it would be nice to get my Musselburgh hat off the needles as well. And then I also need to finish, I have like the Hey There pumpkin socks, I have my Coral Cove socks, I have my other set of vanilla socks that I was working on. I have like 4 socks currently on the needles, which is outrageous. I have no business having that many socks on the needles. So just so many things to kind of buckle down and try to get done. And I'm not trying to get them done by any certain date. I just would like to focus on getting back down to like 1 or 2 projects before I cast on anything else, which is going to be super hard for me. And it's okay if I do end up casting something on. If I'm just really feeling like it, I may go for it, but I would like to wait until maybe I've gotten down to like maybe 6 whips and then I can cast something on, and then get down to 3 whips and then I can cast something else on. You know what I mean? So just like casting on way less than what's coming off the needles would be nice, because I'm just being so overwhelmed by all of the projects. And I think some of it is there's some projects that I'm just not really enjoying a ton right now. So I'm like, if I kind of force myself to get through them, maybe I'll start liking them again, or maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, as per usual, there's just so much to knit and not enough time in the day and not enough hands to get all of the projects that I want done, but I'm trying my best. So that's kind of my plan going forward, is to be a bit of a monogamous knitter, at least for the next little while, and just try to get some things off the needles, which is different for me. It's definitely different. I usually, like, the thought of being a monogamous knitter is like, absolutely not. But for some reason lately it's just sounding really nice. So, and I've been doing that. I kind of did that with this to get it done, and then my frame sweater, and then the socks that I'm currently working on. So okay, it got really dark in here. I'm gonna go grab a couple of my acquisitions and we'll go through those really quickly. If you are leaving me here, thank you so much for being here. If you made it this far in the video, leave me a snowflake emoji, because it's cold, to let me know that you got this far. And if you're enjoying my podcast, make sure to subscribe, make sure to give it a like, make sure to comment. All those things help tell YouTube that you like my video and that someone else might as well. So yeah, but let's go ahead, for those of you who are staying, let's go ahead and get into acquisitions. And also I may do a little bit of a live update, a little bit of a chat at the end, probably not super long, but maybe a little bit of one. If you're interested, you can skip to the end too, I suppose, if you want to skip acquisitions. But if you want to see what I got, let's get into it. So first things first, my flock pre-order came in. As some of you know, I did go to flock this year, and unfortunately by the time, well, because I went on no. Did I go on Saturday or did I go on Sunday? I think I went on Saturday because it was really busy, but I didn't get there early enough to get the merch. So I did get this shirt here, super cute. I feel like this could also be cute, like I could wear this with my my cardigan. But yeah, it's just got the flock logo from this year, and I got size medium, and someone had warned me that when they got their flock stuff last year, or maybe it was this year, that like the shirt is really long. It is a little long, but it's not as bad as I was expecting. So I forget who told me that, so sorry that I forgot, but just wanted to update you on that. I don't think it's as long as last year, or at least it's, I don't know, it is fine. But yeah, it definitely is a little bit longer than I feel like I'm used to. And then of course I also picked up, this was my main reason for ordering, was I wanted one of these bags. I feel like you could fit a lot of yarn in here, and it has a zipper. I really, really like this, and you know, it's cute. So yeah, nice quality canvas, project bag. I turned on like one of my lights because it just feels like it's getting kind of dark. But so I went to the Oregon coast with my parents just this past weekend, kind of for a long weekend, and my mom has been wanting to take me to Ocean Fibers, which is it's in Astoria, and my mom has popped in there a couple times now since I told her about it, and she's been like, oh, you need to like come with us next time so I can take you to the yarn store. And it was also my birthday in October, and my mom did want to give me some yarn. So, but yeah, my mom decided that she, for my birthday, would kind of chip in for my purchase at Ocean. But these are some, I don't know if you can see, they're stitch markers that I saw, and I was just like, oh, they're too cute, I have to get them. So one's a whale and the other is a turtle, and they're just like these cute holographic stitch markers. And I also picked up a sweater quantities worth of yarn. It was so funny. I felt like I was like walking through and like looking at like maybe like half the store, get to this section, see this colorway, and it was like it was like the rest of the store ceased to exist. It was just me and this colorway. Like I fell in love. You guys can help me figure out what to make with these, but I picked up this beautiful, beautiful colorway. It's Tidal Pools. Look how gorgeous this is. Oh my goodness. I feel like the viewfinder at least is not doing this justice. It's so beautiful. I also I don't know if you can see their logo if it's too blown out, but their logo is so cute. I love it. So I got 4 skeins of their fingering silk base, which is 50% superwash merino, 50% silk. So there's that. And then to pair with it, lately I haven't really been gravitating towards like variegated sweaters, but I also got the mohair base as well, and I just got 4 of each skein to be on the safe side so I can knit whatever I decide to knit. But let me know, I need like a DK weight sweater pattern, preferably something that's not like super textured, because I don't think it would look great with it wouldn't show up as much with the variegated colorway. I'm thinking about doing the Dear Duomo, is that how you say it? That sweater, like a drop shoulder. I think that could be cute. And I haven't knit it yet, but I need to look at it a little bit more and see if it's the right pattern for me. But yeah, let me know what you would knit with this. But I just fell in love because it's kind of a green and purple colorway, and it's just so beautiful, and I needed it. So that's what I picked up from Ocean. They also had Sandus Garn, they had Malabrigo, as well as a couple other brands, so not just their hand-dyed stuff, which is nice. So if you're ever in Astoria, Oregon, or you're passing through along the west coast, make sure you hit up that yarn store. It's really cute, and they were super nice in there as well. And then of course I had to also hit up the yarn store in Cannon Beach, which is called Coastal Yarns, sorry. And I picked up a little sock set. So it's kind of a little make your own sock set situation. So they had these mini skeins. So this is their Sneaker Waves base. This one's called Ripples and this is called Sneaker Waves, but they're the same base. It's an 80-20. Yeah, so this is 20 grams, this is 100 grams, and this is called Tide Pools. If you're noticing a theme, a lot of oceany themes. And then this one is called Foxglove, and this is gonna be my sister's socks for Christmas. So I think that they're really pretty, and I'm excited, and I feel like this fun, beautiful colorway of yarn will keep me inspired to get these done on time for her. So yeah, that's it. Those are my acquisitions. I think the only update I really have is things are going well. I finished draft 2 of my current writing WIP that I'm working on, that I am pretty sure is going to be my first book that I self-publish. It'll be like my debut novel. So finished draft 2, that's exciting, and I've been writing just a crap ton. I've just been spending so much time writing and feeling really good about it, and I'm super looking forward to continuing to work on my stories and continuing to knit. It's been a bit of a difficult time just with everything that's going on, but at the same time, I'm just really concentrating on the things that I love, and it's been bringing me a lot of joy and a lot of happiness. So I guess I don't really have much of a life update for you other than that, but I hope that you're all doing well. I hope that you're getting a good amount of knitting time in, and that you're finding joy in your knitting and in other things that you love and hanging out with loved ones. I hope that if you are in the States and you celebrate Thanksgiving, or maybe if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you still got like time off work and time to spend with your loved ones and all of that. And I hope you had a great November, and I hope you have an amazing December and the rest of the year. And I will definitely be back, hopefully in 2 weeks. I'm hoping in 2 weeks I'll have a good decent amount of progress to share with you, but I may or may not push it back. But just know, if I am kind of off my my uploading schedule, it's just most likely because I just don't have quite enough progress to like share with you. Like it would be like, I'd be just like, hey, I finished this one thing and didn't do anything else. So that's probably why. If I push it back again, that's probably why. Or could also be because just the end of the year is also very busy. I feel like once it hits October, I'm just always busy. So anyways, I hope that you're doing well. Hope you enjoyed the podcast episode. Let me know what you've been working on recently. Let me know what you're most excited to cast on next. And if you're also someone who has way too many whips and wants to be my accountability buddy to not cast on anything new until I finished a few things, let me know. If you've made it this far in the video, leave me a little sheep emoji. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Happy knitting. I hope you have an amazing rest of your year. I will see you before the end of the year, but just in case I don't, I hope you have an amazing holiday season and end of the year and new year, just on the off chance that I don't see you. But I will come back in at least a few weeks, and I feel like it'll still be December. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next podcast. Bye!